your books, don't check me. Check with your books and find out what demonstratives are, possible examples, and usage in sentences. Then it's not so cold. I don't know why most of you have things on their heads. So, yes.
Demonstratives are words that can be used in front of an adjective or a noun in a noun phrase.
Okay. Words that can be used in the front of what?
Adjective.
Adjective or noun or noun phrases. What is their role? What is the role of a demonstrative? Yes?
There is to show how close or how distant a person is or something is from you.
How distant a place, thing, or someone is from the target spot. Examples. Yes, at the back. This. When we use this, what are we referring to, or what distance is that? Yes. It's very close to you. Is it plural or singular when you say this? Yes? Singular. What is the plural of that? In case there are many things, what will you say? Yes? Yeah? Yeah? Why are you not sure? What do you have to say? These. Then, apart from now, what is here? What else should we use for demonstratives? Yeah? Yeah? That. How far is a thing when you say that? How far is it? Yes? So, some distance from where you are. In case there are many, what will you say? Plural? Yeah? Those. Do we have another way? Maybe when something is far from the two. A demonstrative showing something away from the two. Something close to you and something just away from you. Yeah? You say? They. Can we use they for demonstration? Let's see in a sentence. Yeah? Yeah? Call them. Them is a personal pronoun, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just like him, I, and all that, and it refers to persons, not a position. So whether they are around us, we still say them, me, or I, or us, or we. Then now the opposite is them, or they. What about there? What do you think? I want you to be sure. What do you think? Is it a demonstrative? Yes. For what? For? For less. Place. How far is the place? How far would the place be? Is it closer? Is it just a distance away, or how far is it? A distance away. Sometimes something you can see, okay?
Yes.
It can be heaven, it can be America, and you're in Kenya and you say there. They went there and came back. Do you have the plural of there?
No.
No. So let's write on demonstratives. She said demonstratives are what? Yeah, let's write that one. Demonstratives are words that can be used in front of an adjective a noun or a noun phrase. Another point somebody told us is that, I think it was Nancy, or who was it? Yeah, she said that they normally show how close or distance somebody, something, or a place is from where we are. How close or distant somebody, something, or a place is from where we are. Another point, from where we are, somebody, something, or a place is from where we are. Another point, they take plurals and singular forms. They take plurals and singular forms. So I think we shall use a kind of table, then we establish. You can capture the point. There is 13 already written. Then we have said words. Count in front of. Adjectives, nouns or noun phrases. And you said they show how close or distant somebody, something, or place is from where we are. You said they take singular and plural forms. Now we are saying we form a kind of table of demonstratives, plural. No, we start with singular. And then plural. So we have this to show close, distance, isn't it? Very close to ourselves or the speaker. So in singular it's still this. In plural we said these. Can somebody give me a sentence here? Depending on where you are sitting, what is close to you? Form a sentence with this. Yes? Yeah? This. These books are ours. For us, really. Okay. Now, when we said now, it is just something is a bit far, but you can see it. We said use what? That. So in singular it remains that. In plural, those. A sentence with that. Anyone who is seeing something not far from them. Yes, okay? Yeah? That is her. Justice. Many. We say many things. Those are their pens. Then we go to the last, what we can see, or it's far away from us. We said we'll use there. Why do people confuse there? Possessive and demonstrative. So this does not have plural or singular, we just have a neutral. An example?
There is where we live.
Yeah, there is where we live. And instead of starting with there, because it won't sound grammatical, we say we live. Or he is in Dubai. He went there last year. Yeah, so it's as simple as that. As simple as that. For demonstratives, you don't have to really worry about it. And you can even see the activity will be asking you to see. You get from the sentences. Like in exercise 1, there is have dash been signed. What do you think you'll feel? Exercise 1, number 5. Have that been signed? So you have to establish first whether it's plural or singular, then see the distance of whatever they are talking about. Yeah. Huh? But I doubt whether, do you think the speaker is very far from wherever they are pointing at? So will they be those or these? These. Yeah. Possibly you've gone to the office as a secretary to the office of your boss. So you're asking whether they have been signed. Maybe the checks, so that you go away with them. So after you've checked through those notes, you want to check through the note with you. You will work on exercise 1 and 7. Exercise. Who will go with me to visit that once in hospital? Yes? Yeah, those, because they're not here. And since we can refer to them as there, we can say those. So let's read through the notes on page 34 and 35 quickly before we work on assignments. And I need you to be very careful. You know, some of us are being careless. Automatic transitional words actually. And the question is fill in transitional word of addition. Then you begin saying on the opposite, on the contrary, nevertheless, are those transitional words of addition? But in your assignment they are there. Then somebody just decides to say also, whatever you say, read your work and see whether it sounds sensible that you can be saying, I went to the market, also I go to market. I went back home, also I ate food. It doesn't sound sensible. Then punctuation. Whenever you are using transitional words, especially nevertheless, however, you must have commas. In an exam, I will not give you a mark. Because missing a comma means you don't actually know that it is necessary. On the contrary, somebody does not have any punctuation yet, and there is no punctuation before. So be sure to also factor punctuation marks. Because in an exam, you really feel sorry to have lost a lot of marks just because you didn't punctuate. Yeah, so let's read. Where are you starting? Demonstratives. There was this, that, these, and those are said to be demonstrative because they point out how close or distant something or somebody is from the speaker. When what is being pointed at is close to the speaker, we use either the singular this or the plural this. For
use either the singular that or the plural those. I want that cup, and not those cups. Demonstrative words can be used in front of an adjective or a noun in a noun phrase. They are then referred to as demonstrative determinants. Example: this yellow mango looks juicy. In front of the adjective yellow. That mango is ripe. In front of the noun mango. They can also be used without an adjective or a noun following them. They are then referred to as demonstrative pronouns. Examples: this looks juicy. That is ripe. Demonstrative pronouns must agree with other related pronouns present in the sentence in terms of being singular or plural. For example, you should read this because it is the most interesting. Singular. You should read this because they are the most interesting. Plural. Also, if the demonstrative pronoun is the subject of the sentence, it must agree with the verb in the third person in terms of being singular or plural. For example, that is a real lion. Singular. Those are real lions. Plural. Likewise, demonstrative determinants should agree with the nouns following them. For example, this leader is worth emulating. Singular. These leaders are worth emulating. Plural.
I think all that we've discussed is what is being done there. Is there anything new? Of course, you know that verb-subject agreement is necessary. If a sentence is plural, it must be throughout, unless we are addressing one group. So just maintain that as you work through your activities, unless there is a question from the activities, exercise 1 and 2. Do you have a question? There are those who are still insisting to write capital C, capital K, and which other letter? M, S, and P. Those letters, be careful, because in grammar, whenever you write, even I, there are some of you, your I is very pronounced. Your I should be small, and of course it must have a dot when it has another word within it. When it is alone, do you have a dot when I is alone? No. And there are some of you are now forcing it, but when you reach here, you write it like that. So just be careful with handwriting, because it is the origin of everything, actually. It defines you indirectly as you mark your work. Then avoid rubbing your work. I said if you have messed, what do? Just cross a line. Don't, do that. So be tidy, your handwriting should be clear and legible. So work on that, then I'll check on it.
You might not be using stress correctly. Pronouncing words with the correct stress can make a big difference in your English. Your English will immediately sound clearer and more natural. You'll learn all about stress in this lesson, but first, you need to talk about syllables.
Listen to 4 words: fast, person, beautiful, information. Do you know how many syllables these words have?
Fast has 1 syllable. Fast.
Person has 2 syllables. Syllable.
Beautiful has 3 syllables. Beautiful.
Information has 4 syllables. Information.
A syllable has 1 vowel sound and only 1 vowel sound and 1 or more consonant sounds. Let's do some more practice. Look at 4 more words. Breakfast. Banana. Tomorrow. University. How many syllables do they have? Breakfast has 2 syllables. Breakfast.
Banana has 3 syllables. No.
Tomorrow has 3 syllables. Tomorrow.
University has 5 syllables. University. So, this lesson isn't really about syllables, it's about stress. What's the connection between syllables and stress? Think about the word banana. Banana has 3 syllables. Do you pronounce all the syllables the same? Ba-na-na.
No, you don't. One syllable is stronger. Banana. This is stress. If a word has 1 syllable, you don't need to think about stress. But if a word has 2 syllables or more, 1 syllable is always stressed. It has a strong, clear pronunciation. Let's practice pronouncing word stress correctly.
Let's look at an example you just saw. Banana. Do you remember where the stress is? It's on the 2nd syllable. Banana. What makes the stressed syllable different?
There are 3 things you need to do to pronounce stress correctly. 1. The stressed syllable should be louder. 2. The stressed syllable should be a little higher. 3. The stressed syllable should be a little longer in time. Let's practice. First, listen to 3 words you saw before. Person. Beautiful. Information. Here, I was exaggerating the stress so that you can hear it clearly. You don't need to pronounce the stress this strongly. However, when you practice, it's a good idea to try to overpronounce the stress a little. This will make sure that you're pronouncing it correctly. So where is the stress in these 3 words? Listen again, and this time repeat the words after me. Person. Beautiful. Information.
Let's try one more time. Person. Beautiful. Information. How was that? Could you pronounce the stress clearly? Next, let's look at 4 more words you saw before. Breakfast. Banana. Tomorrow. University. This time, I pronounced the stress in a more natural way. Could you hear it? Where is the stress in these 4 words?
Let's try one more time. Breakfast. Banana. Tomorrow. University. When you look up a word, you can find the stress by looking at the phonetic transcription. The thing that looks like an apostrophe shows you where the stress is. When you see this apostrophe, the next syllable is the stressed syllable.
When you write down new vocabulary, make sure you record the stress too. You can put a mark over the stressed syllable, or underline it. At this point, you might be thinking, are there any rules about word stress? How do I know where the word stress is if I don't have a dictionary? Let's talk about that.
We've got good news and bad news for you. The good news is that there are some rules about stress in English. The bad news is that the rules don't cover everything, and even the rules which you do have don't work all the time. Here's one rule which is quite useful. It's about words with 2 syllables. Look at 5 words. Picture, minute, money, doctor, water. All these words have 2 syllables. Where's the stress? In all the words, the stress is on the first syllable. There's a reason for this. Can you work it out? What connects these 5 words?
These words are all nouns. Nouns with 2 syllables usually have stress on the first syllable. Let's practice saying the words together. Repeat after me. Picture. Minute. Money. Doctor. Water. This is also true for most adjectives with 2 syllables. Happy. Yellow. Useful. Formal. Tiring.
What about verbs? Look at some examples and try and work out the rule. Decide. Forget. Explain. Arrive. Repeat. Can you hear the stress? The stress is on the second syllable. Let's practice saying the words together. Repeat after me. Decide. Forget. Explain. Arrive. Repeat.
Most nouns and adjectives with 2 syllables have the stress on the first syllable, and most verbs have the stress on the second syllable. Be careful, because there are many common exceptions, like hotel, happen, exam, or finish. What about longer words? Are there any rules you can use to find the stress?
In 3-syllable words, the stress can be anywhere. It can be at the beginning, anyone, beautiful, possible.
It can be in the middle, computer, tomorrow, expensive.
It can also be at the end, although this is less common. Afternoon, employee, Japanese. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Beautiful. Tomorrow. Employee.
Let's try 3 more. Anyone, computer, Japanese. In words with 4 or more syllables, the stress is almost always in the middle of the word, not on the first or last syllable. For example, information, communicate, photographer. Try saying the words after me. Information, communicate, photographer.
There are some other rules which can help you to find the stress in longer words. Let's look together. If a word ends in tion, sion, or cian, then the stress is always on the second to last syllable. Information, discussion, politician. Can you think of 3 more words like this?
There are many, but here are 3 more suggestions. Situation, revision, electrician. The same rule is true for words ending ic, economic, grammatic, Atlantic, scientific. Again, all these words have the stress on the second last syllable.
If a word ends with the letter Y and has 3 or more syllables, then the stress is 2 syllables before the last one. For example, biology, luckily, activity, possibility. That means if a word has 3 syllables and ends in Y, the stress is almost always on the first syllable. Chemistry, pregnancy, robbery.
There's one more rule which could help you here. If a longer word is made from a shorter root word, then the stress is generally in the same place as the root word. For example, comfort, comfortable, discomfort, uncomfortable, comfortably, comforting. In all these words, the stress is in the same place as the root word, comfort.
However, the rules you saw before take priority. This means that the stress can move when you make a longer word from a root word. For example, photograph, photography, photographic, economy, economic, educate, education. Okay, now you've learned about stress, how to pronounce it, and how you can find the stress in different words. But there's still one more very important thing you should know about.
Want to know a secret that will improve your English pronunciation really fast? Here's the most important point about word stress. It's about contrast. That means when you pronounce word stress, it's not just about the stressed syllable. You also need to think about the unstressed syllables. Remember that to pronounce stress, you make the stressed syllable louder, higher, and longer.
Stress is about contrast, so the opposite is true for unstressed syllables. you need to make them quieter, lower, and shorter. Let's look at 3 words you've already practiced. Banana, person, information. To pronounce the words well, you need to think about the unstressed syllables too. Often, the vowel sounds in the unstressed syllables are reduced to schwa sounds, or short I sounds.
Reduced means the vowel sounds are shorter and weaker. For example, in the word banana, the stress is on the second syllable. Banana. The stressed A has an R sound, but the other 2 A's have schwa sounds. Banana. In the word person, the first syllable is stressed, and the second syllable has a schwa sound. Person. And in information, the syllables before and after the stressed syllable reduce to schwas. Information.
Unstressed syllables can't always be reduced, but they often can be. If a vowel sound is reduced, it most often shortens to a schwa sound. We'll finish with a simple tip to help you pronounce word stress clearly and naturally. Focus on the stressed syllable and put more stress on it than you think you need. Pronounce the unstressed syllables as fast as you can. If you do this, you'll have contrast in your pronunciation, and this will make your word stress sound natural and clear.
Finally, we have a question for you. What do you think is the most important pronunciation skill to speak clearly in English? Leave your suggestions in the comments.
For more practice with this topic, check out the full lesson on our website, oxfordonlineenglish.com. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
Okay. So I want you to share what you've learned. I've also written some things on board. Yeah, so what is the first rule you've learned from verb stress? And that is common because that is what most of us normally apply. Pronouns and verbs, what have you learned? One person, yeah?
For the nouns, you stress the first syllable, but for the verbs, you stress the second syllable.
Let's get the words whereby you can use both in verb and nouns and see how they are coming out differently. I've given 2 examples there, subject and subject. Conduct and conduct. So you can see we are emphasizing. As we've been told, stress comes out for clearer, louder, higher and longer parts. Yes. Perfect and perfect. Project. Yeah? Produce and produce. Yes?
Record.
Record and record. Now, the second rule. What is the second rule? Yes? 3-syllable words, you can have a different of stress, and you've been given different situations. Like you can stress some in the beginning, others middle, others end. Now you can see examples here. Beautiful, you stress beginning. Possible, you stress beginning. Any other words? Yeah. Comfort. Any other? Find out, because you need to really practice a lot. This is what they said a lot. Adjectives and 3-syllable words. Now there are those where you stress the middle, like tomorrow. Emphasis is placed on the middle, tomorrow. Expensive, you emphasize pence than any other part. Any other word? Example? Yes. Agreement. Any other? Information. Though information falls on others, but it is okay because we see in the middle. There are those which we stress in the end, and you have seen examples: Japanese, afternoon, employee. Any other? Inspect. Any other? Success. And they test a lot that word success. And some, because they know the first rule, you end up failing. Any other rule you captured from the the diphthong part. You know diphthongs? Like what? Like? A. No, I want the diphthongs. A, then I, then yeah. Ow. So any double vowels. You can see I've given examples here. Sincere. So we have ear. Mistake. We have A. Any other word? No? Dislike. Yeah. Advice. That one does not have double. It should have A, E, A or something. A, U together. Yeah? Which one is that? That one does not have I or U. You know, two vowels together. Yeah? You people are not getting diphthongs. Diphthongs are double vowel. We have two vowels, different voices together. Then the ones you are giving me, some of you are longer vowel. You have the difference. Yeah? Yeah, this pair. Does it have double? It has long, but not double. It has longer U. You can see that U is double. There are more words, yeah. Yeah, mistake, yeah. A. Yeah. Prepare. Any other rule? Oh, you're giving another one. Any other rule you learn? In which case, again, with stress. Yeah. Longer words. Is it always the case? That in all longer words you stress second syllable? Or in what situation particularly? What were we told here? There must be words ending with C-I-O-N, S-I-O-N, or T-I-O-N. So you stress the second last syllable. If word is revision, then V. We have more emphasis on that. Electrician, so it is re. Situation, so that part. Any other example for the name? Yeah? Any other? Composition? Any other? Yeah? Permission. Yeah, permission. So you find me is emphasized more. They also told you those ending with ik behave in the same way. You cannot say economic, but you say economic, okay? You say Atlantic, not Atlantic, not or Atlant. You know, like naturally you are supposed to the second last. Any other rule you remember? Yeah. So if you realize that a word has two consonants, then the last part is what has to be emphasized. They also teach this one a lot. So be sure to revise a lot on words which are double consonant. And be aware that the last part, where the second repeated consonant is happening, that is where you have to stress, approach. So it's not the first P, but the second up to the end. Assist. So assist. So assist is emphasized than us. Any other rule? Yeah?
If a word ends in a Y and has middle of most syllables, the stress is always on the first syllable.
Yeah? Words ending with Y. Then it has how many? You said how many? It has 3 syllables. Where do we stress? Where do we stress? On the first syllable. And they gave you examples of which one? You stress the before the last, isn't it? Like, yes? Oh, this one is not. Examples, let's get from you. The examples, yeah. Like? Beside. Any other? Yeah?
Biology.
Biology? Biology, I think it's falling here. Computer? No, computer does not start with one. You didn't pay attention there, yeah? Just repeat that rule. It seems people are not getting it.
If a word ends in Y and has 3 or more syllables, the stress is always on the first syllable.
Yeah, they are saying words ending in Y and they have 3 or more syllables. Then the stress comes at? Yeah? First syllable, like which one? Yeah, of course it will be that biology. Because it's ending with Y, you stress the beginning. Yes? Probably. Yeah, probably. You emphasize the beginning. Compulsory, yeah? Possibly. Activity, yeah. Photography. The photography was also calling at longer words where you stress the second last syllable because you are forming another word. The original word is photograph, isn't it? Where the stress is elsewhere. Then photography or photographer. So the second syllable, second last, is where you stress. They gave us that. Information. So you are forming a longer word. Economy, economic. So it moves to the second last. Educate, education. So that's the difference. Any other rule maybe? Any other rule? Any other rule we haven't talked about? Did you factor this? When we have prefixes or suffixes, words with prefixes or suffixes, you normally have to stress the stem word. I hope you know prefixes. Do you know them? Like this, miss, any other? An, any other? Yeah? Re. So when you see a word that has a prefix, you stress the stem word. Like. Dislike, so you emphasize like. Preempt, empt. Disconnect, where do we stress? Connect. Then we have those which have suffixes. You know the suffix? Like which one? Li. Those which are ending li, yi. Which other? Less. In fact, we formed them in form 3, didn't we? Yeah, so such words, you normally have to stress the stem word. You leave alone the suffix or the prefix. So remember, we are not native speakers of English, but it is set for us. So what does that mean? We have to learn, we have to practice. Even if orally you may not be quite accurate, but be accurate on paper. And then most of you have a problem in exams. You find the word is just having this dot. Automatically that tells you don't mind about noun or verb. Consider whether it has double consonant or longer syllables in vowels or diphthongs. Don't ask, because I normally see most of you asking, how will I know it's a noun or verb? But that means the rule applying to stress in that word is neither on vowel or verb or noun or adjective. It is just on other rules. So you look around, see whether it has double consonant, longer vowel, diphthong, prefix, and then apply that. Because we are not applying whether it's verb or noun. Is there a question? A question? And remember, it's hard enough for them to test these ones. They know these ones everybody has mastered. But the other cases, they keep asking. If you check in KCSE books, whether it's made familiar, the papers from year to year, they have tested so many of these others, the exceptions. So just interact with as many words as possible. For those who have made familiar with any revision book for English, interact with that. And that is what will help you, because our language does not have such, though it has You know, when you are in college, we could be asked, because when you are doing second language acquisition and discourse and all those, we have those units called like that. They normally now take us to your native language, and they ask you, can you think about a word in your language? When pronounced two ways, it means different. And I think it's pronounced among the Luo a lot. And I even realized, even the Kalenjins, what is the knife? A knife. The word for knife, does it have another meaning if you pronounce differently? Huh? Hey, I thought you have those ones too. In fact, do you have a Kamba in the house? Yes. We have a phone known as Nokia. But that word in Kamba means quite different. I think in Kalenjin also we have equator, but they have their own way of pronouncing that sounds very bad. Yeah? Among the Taita, they normally respond when you say, Wasita mana, and they say manato. But then, mana, in Uganda, it means something very different. In fact, it's an abuse. Now, I heard about a Kisi word, I'm not quite sure. But the Kisi words, the way it's pronounced here and there is different. For Luyas, I think one student gave us was a tachoni. The word for a big back of a, the word kuku and kuku, something like that. So in every language, I think there is stress, even in our own languages. So if you think about that, then you realize stress is important. It's only that maybe the way the Americans or British people do it, not similar to us, but we are learning that language, and therefore that is why they keep tasting. Yeah, so we have to practice. So if you don't have a question, let me see if there is an assignment in this.